Hi there, welcome back to Headbangers Ball. It's our Valentine's Day massacre, and I think it's actually going to turn into a bloody Valentine right now, because I gotta say to you, kill, fuck, die. I'm not being rude. That is the title of the new Wasp album out on the 24th of March, and as you can see, Blackie and Chris are joining me here at Rock City in Nottingham. May I say that you look absolutely fantastic. It's great to have you back on the show. So welcome, and just to start off with, you've been playing some shows in Europe. How have things been going? Everything looking good?
Well, we're doing a 7-show pep rally, effectively, is what it boils down to. Because, as you mentioned, the album's out on March 24th, and Chris and I have not played together in public for 7 years, so we decided to come give everybody a teaser before we do the real tour in the next couple of months.
Right, well, you're certainly creating a buzz. Everybody's talking about the Wasp show, which I guess is exactly what you want.
Yeah, there's a buzz. I've created a buzz the whole time.
Good, good. Well, actually, you mentioned there that it's the first time that you've played together in 7 years, and I know that there was no love lost between you and Chris for quite a while, and I was just wondering who made the first move to get back together. Was there any kind of catalyst, or what happened?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't like a situation of love being lost. It was our lives went in different directions. And I came over here and I did a promotional tour about a year and a half ago for the album Still Not Black Enough. And the one thing that I kept hearing from the press over and over again at the end of every interview was, Blackie, please go do a show again. Please go do a show again. And I'm thinking to myself, these guys must be bored out of their minds because there's nothing going on in the rock world right now. So what the press didn't know is that I was already within an eyelash of wanting to do that. Right. So that was the push that I needed. So when I went home in August of '95, I called him within a week of being home. And it was interesting because you never know. When you don't talk to someone for 6 years, you don't know what they're going to react like. You don't know if they're going to tell you to screw themselves or whatever, you know. And I was nervous when I called him. And I called him up, and like I said, we hadn't spoken for 6 years, but it was amazing. We talked for about 30 minutes, and it was like we hadn't spoken in a day. You know, we picked up right where we left off, so it was...
That is a sign of a good friendship.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of water under the bridge. Like I said, both our lives went in separate directions, and it was never really a hostile split. It just, you wake up one day, and it's like any other kind of marriage where it ends up in a divorce. You grow, but you start growing in different directions, and you wake up one day and you go, how did I get here? And you don't know that.
Well, you found the answer to that. Anyway, you're back together again. And who else is in the band, Chris? Tell us the musicians.
It's Mike Duda on bass, and he's an LA musician that we kind of picked up from Skid Row. And the drummer Sted Howland, or Holland. He's played on the Crimson Idol with Blackie. Played on Still Ain't Black Enough.
Still Not Black Enough.
Okay.
So he's not like, you know, a newcomer to the situation. He actually toured with us in '92.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to see Wasp '97 in action right now, live on stage at Rock City. Kill, fuck, die.
Dancing with danger, right until dawn. Send that to bag yourself. Mom and Daddy said the life that you live, body your way straight to hell. On your knees, you shall be. On your knees, 'cause I want to. On your knees, you shall be. On your knees, 'cause I need to. On your knees, you shall be. On your knees, 'cause I know what's in me. Oh, yes, I do. All I need is my baby. I'm in misery. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. My prescription tell me I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. My prescription tell me I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. All I need is my baby. And I know I'll keep her out of my head. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor. I don't need no. Well, the doctor said I need rest. He put me on the critical list. He made me sick from my heart. Now he's her sweet charm. He gave me a medicated lotion. Yeah, now he's motion. Yeah, I don't need no doctor. I don't need no doctor.
Well, as you can see, Blackie and Chris are still here. We're talking about their new album, Kill, Fuck, Die. And guys, you're back together again, as we said, after a break of 7 years. What was it like when you got into the studio? Did the chemistry immediately come back, and did you find yourselves kind of inspiring each other a lot?
Well, the way that him and I work is I keep him from going too far one direction. He keeps me from going too far the other direction. That's the reason the two albums that I made on my own are effectively solo albums. That's why when the two of us work together, there's some sort of a wacky chemistry that makes it sound like the quintessential Wasp. And for the first 8 months, we kept this whole thing a secret. We had to lie to a lot of people for a long time.
You did well.
Oh, yes, because people were calling us up, friends of ours, and they're going, "You two guys working together again?" And I go, "Nope." And so about a week would go by, and they call me back and go, "You sure you're not working together again?" I go, "Nope." Yeah, because the reason we couldn't let it out is because if we would have done that too soon, then it wouldn't have had any impact.
Right.
We got ready to do these shows, so we had to lie to a lot of people for a long time, but we were working, basically, he's got a small studio down at his house, and we would work down there, and we would write ideas, and every few days he'd come back up with new improved versions of the things we had done. So it's a constant trade-off situation the way him and I put it together.
Right. Would you describe it as a concept record, or would you say more that the whole thing of the live show and the album artwork and the album itself, that's all a big concept?
It's not a concept album per se, but what we always did in the beginning was try to package everything as if it was one complete unit. In other words, where you cannot differentiate the difference between the live show and what the album is, and the packaging and all of the marketing that goes behind it. It should be one gigantic extension of each other, and that's what we're trying to do again now.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you know that certain Mr. Marilyn Manson is a big fan of yours. Like, you played at his party in Los Angeles, did you?
No, we were going to. They requested that we did, but we just didn't have time. And as a matter of fact, we were on our way to Spain when they were actually playing LA, so there was just no time to do it.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll approve then, because we've got a Marilyn Manson video on the way, actually. So coming up in just a little while, we've got Marilyn Manson, Tourniquet, the fantastic new video. But first up, the brand new one from 9 Inch Nails, The Perfect Drug. So the Headbangers Board, you've made it to the heart of our Valentine's Day massacre. And Wasp are back, you better believe it. Their new album, Kill, Fuck, Die, is out on the 24th of March. And as you can see, Blackie and Chris are still with me. So guys, the album and the live show is very politically incorrect.
No.
Yes, and I want to know, why did you feel the need to be so shocking, and what do you hope to achieve from it?
Within a week of him and I getting back together, the one thing that we determined is that if we were going to do this again, we did not want to be a trip down memory lane.
Right.
We felt that if the movie The Exorcist scared people 20 years ago, won't scare people now. The Wasp show of 12 years ago won't scare people now. If we were going to come back and we were going to do that, or do this show in this decade, we were going to have to be the nastiest, the stinkiest, most vile band on this planet. And with the show that you're getting ready to see up here tonight, I think we're hitting the bullseye.
Well, we shall show you some more Wasp live so you can decide for yourself. The lyrics, they deal with murder, suicide, unpleasant deaths and sex. And I just wondered, where did the inspiration for those come from? I wondered if perhaps like some films and stuff.
The whole thing started with the movie Apocalypse Now. And the finale on this record is a song called The Horror. And it's specifically the part in the film where Marlon Brando is talking to Martin Sheen when they're in the cave at the end, and he's explaining to him what that trip of insanity is, that dark space that all humans have. And so that was the basic inspiration for that song, but we had 3 little words in it: kill, fuck, die. Didn't make sense. Sounded good, but didn't make sense. Didn't know what to do with it. So we thought, well, we're on to something here, so why don't we try this again on another song? So we wrote the spin-off, which eventually became the title track, Kill, Fuck, Die, but it still didn't make sense in of itself. We had to have something that made sense for it. So in writing that song, I came up with a line in the chorus that said, that's all you get from life. Kill, fuck, die. That's all you get from life. And when I had that, I went, yes, thank you. I have an anthem for the 90s.
Excellent. So a little bit of a different outlook to birth, school, work, death, I think we can say. Anyway, Chris, I just wondered, do you think this record's going to appeal to all Wasp fans? Do you think the older fans from like 8-9 years ago, are they going to be able to swallow it?
I think they got to listen to it about 3 or 4 times and they'll start swallowing it. It's like the first album. It's not like the Headless Children. It's more fast. The drums are kicking ass on it. Oh yeah, it doesn't slow down. It's like grabbing onto a tornado and letting it go where it goes.
The live show then, you debase women. I believe that you rape a nun with a knife.
Nuns kind of...
Nuns are different than women, aren't they?
Well,
they're in a different category. Well, you know what it is, like I said, we didn't want to be a trip down memory lane. We said if we're going to do this, it's going to be intense. We're not doing anything that you're not seeing on TV as it is. We're coming to a Wasp show is like watching the news for 55 minutes or an hour. We're just giving people exactly the decadence that the world is in right now. We're only reflecting it. That's it.
That's pretty sick. Do you debase yourselves?
Well, look at me now. I mean,
Yeah, well, actually,
you know, it's like,
take a look at this wonderful.
you know, it's this isn't exactly 10 Downing Street now, is it? You know, of course it might be.
Well, I think we should let the music do the talking. That's what we
agree.
like to do at Headbangers Ball. So here you go, more Wasp live, Rock City in